The thing about streaming only twice a week is that I have to catch up on things like this. Like Twitch rolled back its policy regarding like not allowing nudity on the website. They basically issued new guidance saying, yeah, you can have artistic nudity. And I was like, okay, I'm so ready to talk about this. I'm so ready. It's going to be so interesting to see what happens after this. But I didn't stream until today. So what has happened in the time since is Twitch has immediately changed their mind about the nudity policy. They're no longer allowing artistic nudity because the platform has been spammed with sexually explicit drawings. And I actually saw one artist posting like, hey, we're going to start drawing some crazy big titty shit as soon as this policy is, ready to go. Hey, real quick, hit the like button if you're enjoying the content. Hit the subscribe button as well and turn on all notifications. And also take a moment to check out the links in the description for merchandise and Patreon, where you can find exclusive free content. I just think that that's the platform, like the audience itself being kind of garbage. Because I feel like you should know that artistic nudity does not mean like any drawn nudity. Like it doesn't mean any artistically created nudity. Technically, any photo that you take, because sometimes photos can be artistic, is an artistic endeavor. Like any photo that you take. So a selfie you take in the mirror could technically be like, oh, that's artistic nudity. Yeah, exactly. Artistic nudity instantly devolving into furry smut. This is a totally different thing. So yeah, I honestly don't even think that the policy needs to change. I think that they just had to deal with an influx of moderation needing to occur because people are still breaking the policy. The policy itself was artistic nudity, and people decided to be funny and try to rules lawyer it and say, well, I drew it, therefore it's artistic. Like, no, that is not the case, actually. Okay, but furry smut is pretty artistic. They care about their smut a lot. Listen, it depends. It depends. I think Americans need to get over nudity sensitivity in general. Americans allow some seriously vicious amounts of violence, but see a, quote, female presenting nipple being adjusted in a bra, and they flip the fuck out. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say that we have, like, good boundaries around nudity. Honestly, I think that we are in one of the most sex-regressive societies in general right now, and it's awful. Like, it's so difficult to exist as a sex worker online. Like, you're being relegated to more and more and more niche parts of the internet, making it hard to make a living, Obviously, sex work in public is limited. Like, you're, like, not allowed to do in-person sex work to the same degree. You can do stuff online all day long. But yeah, I mean, culturally, we do have a tendency to go too hard on the anti-nudity stuff. And I don't know what the solution to that is, because who's driving that change? Right, is it mostly like old white men who own the companies that don't want to, like the credit card companies that don't want to process sex workers' payments? Like, is it those people? And gradually as they die and like stop being in charge of stuff, then things will change. Like, I don't know how to societally move past the idea. And this happens all the time. Like, I don't have the article pulled up right this second, but there was recently, I think it was either a teacher or a student. Actually, I think it was a student. Gayfesh, did you share this in the group chat? A student was like kicked out of their college because they were doing sex work. It's like, we hear about teachers being kicked out of their jobs because they've been doing sex work to make ends meet. But, even a student at a college that you're paying fucking tuition to because you are using sex work to make the money in order to pay your tuition, they're like, no. And again, a lot of the time, sex work in these contexts doesn't mean full service in-person sex work. It often means you just have an OnlyFans page. Yeah, ads can be very smutty compared to anything that you'll find on Twitch. They're good at finding ways to toe the line, right? When they opened up artistic nudity, Kitty was planning on maybe buying some stuff to start a life drawing model live stream. Could increase accessibility for rural artists that don't have local community colleges. 1 hour with a model can cost between $25 to $30 minimum. So I was thinking about helping artists and saying, hey, I could make a living. And it would also be boring to people trying to masturbate because the poses are not intended to be sexy. They are intended to show movement. And then Twitch is like, no. Yeah, I wonder, like, again, I don't even know why they changed the policy, because these people were not following the policy as it was stated. You could continue to say artistic nudity is allowed and non-artistic nudity is not allowed, and then just have like someone monitoring, like having discretion about what kinds of nudity can be artistic versus not. But then again, that like gets into a whole question about what defines what artistic nudity means. Because I guess ultimately, you know, if that's going to be the crux term, if nudity is allowed only if it is artistic, then what is meant by artistic nudity? Obviously, we don't mean hardcore porn that happens to be drawn by someone. As a pre-op trans person, I create different challenges for the artist. That's true. Atypical body types. If advertisers are okay with it, then it's artistic. True. That's what it all comes down to. This is so stupid and annoying. This is the most dumb response they could possibly have, actually. Hold on. Okay, they're saying, moving forward, and this is from a guy who works at Twitch. CEO Dan Clancy says, moving forward, depictions of real or fictional nudity won't be allowed on Twitch regardless of the medium. This restriction does not apply to mature-rated games. While I wish we could have predicted this outcome, part of our job is to make adjustments that serve the community. So it's just like, regardless of the medium, again, I think that they're focusing on the wrong part of this. The platform's art section was quickly filled with pornographic drawings and animation, including fetish art and sexually explicit imagery of what appeared to be young girls. Right, like that. It like the medium has nothing to do with it. Like the medium had nothing to do with it. It's that a bunch of people misinterpreted your terms and decided to break the terms. The problem was never the medium or the policy definitions. Like that's not what the issue was. They didn't go far enough, true. You gotta be either Walmart, where you casually sell vibrators like any other product, or you ban them altogether. I guess. This is talking about that lady, Morgpie? I don't know how to pronounce her name. Yeah, we made a really vague policy and some people took advantage, therefore the intention of the policy was wrong. Like, therefore nobody gets to do anything now. The problem is exactly that they didn't bother with any actual moderation or a well-defined policy. It's almost, oh god, yeah, and it's almost inevitable considering that like a lot of the core group of users on Twitch are like outrage marketing folks. They're like, what can I do or say that's gonna get me the most attention without technically breaking TOS? Anyway, that's obnoxious. Only male presenting nips allowed. I actually don't even know, like I would hope, and it would amuse me deeply if they were being like, no, actually, nobody's nipples are allowed. Like, if you're a man, you also can't be shirtless on Twitch. Like, I don't know how else you can be consistent about that. But then again, as this article points out, Twitch is notorious for having rules that only apply to their female streamers, like their female partners or whatever. And then there's the problem of enforcement as well, as Violet points out. Like, even if they do have a policy against anybody being shirtless, then it still is inevitably going to be that women are the ones who are getting reported for that, and that they're going to be the ones who the moderators actually flag as nudity. It's funny because men being shirtless used to be illegal at some point in US history. Modesty. We gotta stay modest, okay? We have to be modest. Merry holidays and Happy New Year to my patrons and potential future patrons. Today I would love to thank Tiago Nascimento, Mersh Rolvag, Amanda B., Michelle Frateroli, Wellington Marcus, Michelle Winter, Danielle McDonald, DZXN, Suzanne Maynard, Spooky Heather Sylvia, Past Null Infinity, Jamie Jam, Nova, Elizabeth Bartell, Sojo, Sarah A., Kevin Young, Athiet, Celeste, Desi Quiche, Liam Hodgson, and Mr. Atheist.